There is a part of you working right now that you will never fully meet. It has been solving things while you rested, reordering your thoughts while you dreamed, and quietly finishing what your waking mind could not. You'll discover how your subconscious becomes its most capable in the dark, and understand why some of your clearest ideas have always arrived in the morning. Welcome to Sleepy Science Facts. Wherever you are right now, perhaps lying still, with thoughts still flickering, or already feeling the edges of wakefulness soften, allow yourself to settle into this gentle exploration. We'll journey through 100 sleep science facts about the subconscious mind. From the quiet hum of neural activity that never pauses, to the way your sleeping brain untangles problems your waking self couldn't crack, to the deep, wordless intelligence that has always been yours. These gentle journeys through mind science build a community of curious, peaceful souls. A soft like, a quiet subscribe, or sharing this with someone who needs rest tonight creates a pathway for more searching minds to find this peaceful space. One sleepy soul at a time. Your presence here means more than you know. Let yourself settle completely here. Feel your jaw unclench, your breath deepen naturally. You can let these thoughts drift past without holding them. Sense that soothing heaviness enveloping you, like your consciousness slowly dimming its brightness. Thoughts dissolving into the peaceful fog of approaching sleep, safe and undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're floating where memories rest safely in gentle darkness. Let your mind merge with infinite peace. And now we begin. Your subconscious mind never sleeps. While your conscious awareness fades each night, a vast network of neural activity continues beneath the surface, processing, sorting, and quietly solving. Researchers using functional fMRI imaging have confirmed that the brain remains extraordinarily active during sleep, with certain regions showing activity levels that rival or even exceed what occurs during focused waking attention. The idea that sleep is simply the brain powering down is one of the most persistent and thoroughly disproven ideas in all of neuroscience. Your mind, it turns out, does some of its most meaningful work precisely when you believe it has gone quiet. Researchers have estimated that the brain's subconscious processing handles roughly 11 million bits of information per second, while conscious awareness can engage with only about 40 to 50 bits at a time. That gap is not a limitation. It is a design. The vast majority of what your mind knows, notices, and acts upon happens below the threshold of awareness, in a layer of processing so swift and so deep that it rarely announces itself. This silent intelligence shapes your decisions, your emotions, your instincts, and your dreams, all without requiring a single deliberate thought. Sleep is divided into distinct stages, each with its own relationship to the subconscious. The two most studied are non-REM sleep, which includes deep, slow-wave sleep, and REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep, during which the brain becomes highly active and dreaming most commonly occurs. The full cycle through these stages takes approximately 90 minutes and repeats 4 to 6 times across a typical night. Each pass through the cycle shifts in proportion, with more deep sleep occurring in early cycles and more REM sleep accumulating as morning approaches. This architecture is not random. It reflects the precise sequence the brain requires to complete its nightly work. Slow wave sleep, the deepest stage of non-REM sleep, is when the brain performs what researchers describe as memory consolidation. During this stage, the hippocampus, a structure involved in forming new memories, replays the events of the day to the cortex, the brain's outer layer responsible for long-term storage. This replay happens in compressed, accelerated bursts of neural activity called sharp wave ripples. The process is selective. Not everything gets replayed. The brain appears to prioritize experiences with emotional significance, practical relevance, or connections to what was already known. What gets kept, and how, is one of the quieter marvels of every single night. REM sleep has long been associated with dreaming, but its function extends far beyond the production of nocturnal narratives. During REM, the brain appears to strip the emotional charge from memories while preserving the factual content. Research from the University of California, Berkeley suggests that REM sleep acts as a form of overnight emotional processing, allowing the brain to revisit emotionally loaded experiences in a neurochemical environment that dampens the stress response. This may be why events that felt overwhelming the day before often seem more manageable by morning. The night has been quietly doing its work. The brain has its own waste clearance network, called the glymphatic system. During sleep, cerebrospinal fluid flows through channels surrounding the brain's blood vessels, carrying away metabolic waste products that accumulate during waking hours. Among the substances cleared is beta amyloid, a protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. Research published in early 2026 confirmed that this clearance system is active across both deep sleep and REM sleep, and that it gradually accelerates the longer sleep continues, rather than switching on and off in a simple pattern. The brain does not merely rest during the night. In a very physical sense, it cleans itself. Problem solving during sleep was first rigorously studied in a German university experiment where participants trained on a mathematical task containing a hidden shortcut. Those who slept before testing discovered the shortcut at more than twice the rate of those who stayed awake. More recent research has refined this finding further. A study published in 2025 found that it may be specifically the N2 stage of sleep, the first deeper phase of the sleep cycle, that most powerfully enables these moments of sudden insight. Participants who reached N2 sleep during even a short nap discovered hidden solutions at measurably higher rates than those who remained awake. The sleeping brain does not simply store what it has learned. It reorganizes it, and sometimes surfaces what the waking mind had not yet found. The phenomenon of sleeping on a problem has a name in cognitive science: offline consolidation. When you encounter a difficult problem and then sleep, your brain continues processing the relevant information in the absence of new input. Without the constant stream of waking sensory data demanding attention, the brain is free to make connections across distant memory networks. It can link what you encountered today with something you learned years ago, or find structural similarities between problems that seemed entirely unrelated. This is not metaphor. It is measurable, reproducibly, and it happens every night whether you intend it or not. Some of the most celebrated creative insights in scientific history are believed to have arrived during sleep, or the threshold state between waking and sleep. The chemist Auguste Kekulé described arriving at the ring structure of benzene through a dreamlike vision. The mathematician Henri Poincaré described a breakthrough arriving fully formed after a period of deliberate rest following sustained effort. Whether these accounts are entirely accurate in every detail, the underlying neuroscience they point toward has since been confirmed. The resting mind continues to work. It reaches for what the focused mind could not quite grasp. Your subconscious is already beginning to change how you understand tonight. Even as these words arrive slowly, your brain is already weaving them into existing knowledge, testing them against memory, and deciding what to carry forward. This is not something you are doing consciously. It is happening in the same vast, quiet network that will continue working long after your eyes have fully closed. The relationship between sleep and insight is not a curiosity. It is a fundamental feature of how human cognition was built. The prefrontal cortex, the region most associated with logical reasoning, deliberate planning, and conscious problem solving, becomes notably less active during REM sleep. At the same time, the limbic system, which governs emotion, association, and intuition, remains highly engaged. This shift in the brain's operating mode during REM sleep may be precisely what allows for the unusual, associative thinking that characterizes dreams and that sometimes produces creative breakthroughs. When the brain's inner critic quiets, its inner connector comes forward. Sleep deprivation measurably impairs the subconscious processing that makes insight possible. Studies using standard creative problem-solving tasks have found that participants who are sleep-deprived show clear reductions in their ability to find novel solutions, make remote associations, and identify hidden patterns. After a full night of recovery sleep, these abilities return. This is not simply about feeling rested. The neural mechanisms that support unconscious problem-solving require adequate sleep to function. There is no cognitive shortcut around this requirement. The brain does not store memories the way a hard drive stores files. Each memory is a pattern of connections between neurons, distributed across multiple brain regions. When a memory is retrieved, it is reconstructed from these distributed pieces, rather than simply played back. This means that every act of remembering slightly rewrites what is remembered. During sleep, when memories are replayed and consolidated, the brain has an opportunity to integrate new information, update associations, and gradually shift the emotional weight attached to experiences. Memory is not a record. It is a living structure that sleep helps tend. Targeted memory reactivation is a technique researchers have used to demonstrate the brain's capacity for directed learning during sleep. In studies conducted at Northwestern University and elsewhere, participants learned associations between objects and sounds. While they slept, specific sounds were played softly. Upon waking, participants showed notably better recall for the associations linked to those cues compared to uncued ones. The sleeping brain, it appears, can be guided. Specific memories can be selectively strengthened during sleep, without the sleeper ever becoming conscious of the process. The relationship between the hippocampus and the neocortex during sleep is not simply one-directional. While the hippocampus sends replayed memories outward toward the cortex for long-term storage, research suggests the cortex also sends signals back, appearing to guide what gets replayed and in what sequence. This two-way exchange, coordinated by precise patterns of neural oscillation, distinguishes sleep consolidation from simple passive storage. The sleeping brain is not a receiving station. It is an active participant in its own reconstruction, deciding not just what to keep, but how to weave it into the larger fabric of what is already known. Emotional memories are processed differently than neutral ones during sleep. The amygdala, a structure involved in processing emotionally notable events, shows heightened activity during REM sleep. Researchers believe that during REM, the brain revisits emotionally charged memories and gradually reduces the physiological stress response associated with them. This process has been proposed as a neurological basis for why grief softens over time and why certain memories become less raw with distance and rest. Sleep does not erase what happened. It gently changes the way the body carries it. The subconscious processes language in ways that conscious attention does not. Studies of people in light sleep have found that the sleeping brain continues to categorize spoken words and to distinguish between semantically related and unrelated terms. In other words, a sleeping brain can still tell the difference between a word that belongs to a category it was primed with and a word that does not. The sleeping mind is still listening, still sorting, still making sense. Even now, as these words arrive softly, something in you is already understanding them in ways you may not fully notice until morning. Procedural memory, the kind involved in physical skills, like playing an instrument, riding a bicycle, or learning a new motion, is consolidated primarily during slow-wave sleep. Musicians, athletes, and surgeons who sleep well between practice sessions show measurably greater improvement than those who practice equivalent amounts without adequate sleep. The sleeping brain does not simply store the movements. It refines them, smoothing out inefficiencies and strengthening the most successful patterns. Practice builds the raw material. Sleep shapes it into skill. The subconscious mind is not simply reactive. It is also generative. During REM sleep, the brain produces novel combinations of ideas, images, and associations that would rarely emerge during waking thought. This is sometimes called combinatorial creativity. The dreaming brain draws from widely separated areas of memory and knowledge, placing things together that waking logic would keep apart. Many researchers now believe this combinatorial function of sleep is not a side effect of neural maintenance, but a primary purpose, a nightly exercise in creative synthesis. Sleep spindles are brief bursts of synchronized neural activity that occur during stage 2 non-REM sleep. They appear as characteristic wave patterns on an electroencephalogram and last only about half a second to 2 seconds each. Research has linked the density of sleep spindles to performance on tasks requiring fluid intelligence, including abstract reasoning and the ability to solve problems that call for flexible thinking. People who generate more sleep spindles tend to show greater cognitive gains from sleep. The architecture of your night has far more precision in it than it appears from the outside. The subconscious mind continues to register and respond to certain environmental stimuli during sleep. Your name, spoken softly, can still produce a detectable brain response in sleeping individuals. Sounds related to potential threat activate processing regions even in deep sleep. The smell of smoke or burning can rouse a sleeper from stages where almost nothing else penetrates. This selective sensitivity is not a flaw in the system. It is the result of millions of years of evolution, maintaining a quiet guard in the background, so that rest could be deep without ever being entirely defenseless. The process by which the subconscious connects new learning to old knowledge is called schema assimilation. When you encounter new information, your brain does not store it in isolation. It looks for existing structures, called schemas, that the new information can be attached to or used to update. During sleep, this assimilation deepens. Newly acquired information becomes genuinely integrated into your understanding rather than simply held in short-term storage. This is why sleeping after studying produces better long-term retention than reviewing material again without sleeping. The new knowledge needs time in the dark to find its place. Insight. The sudden feeling of a solution arriving fully formed has a neural signature. Researchers using electroencephalography and functional imaging have identified a burst of high-frequency gamma-wave activity in the right anterior temporal lobe, just before participants reported experiencing an insight. This neural event typically follows a period of mental quiet, what some researchers describe as a prepared mind. The preparation happens during waking. The readiness to connect, however, appears to be something that builds during rest. Insight is not a flash from nowhere. It is the visible surface of something that was forming below. The threshold between waking and sleep, known as the hypnagogic state, has long attracted the deliberate attention of creative minds. Stories persist, though not always with clear documentation, of artists trying to capture what arrived in that transitional moment. The painter Salvador Dalí reportedly held a key in his hand as he drifted off, using the sound of it falling to wake himself at precisely that threshold. Whether or not such accounts are entirely accurate in every detail, the underlying science they gesture toward is real. The brain in that narrow passage between alertness and sleep, producing slow theta waves and loosening the grip of analytical control, generates a quality of association that focused waking thought rarely reaches. We have now traveled through the first quarter of our journey, and a pattern is already emerging. The subconscious mind is not a passive archive. It is an active system, working across every stage of sleep to consolidate, connect, rewrite, and create. The brain you wake up with is meaningfully different from the one that closed its eyes the night before. What you felt was rest was also reconstruction. And the most remarkable part of all of this may be that it has always been true. In every human who has ever slept, across every night in the whole of human history. Let's pause here and notice your body. As you breathe out slowly, appreciate each tiny cell inside. Trillions of processes working in silence. Heart beating, lungs breathing, brain thinking, all without your command. Right now, your hippocampus is already beginning to sort the things you heard tonight. Your cortex is finding the shelves where they belong. You don't need to help. You never did. Notice the gentle sensations on your skin, in your muscles, along your spine. You are a complete ecosystem, quietly self-balancing. Now we continue. The subconscious mind is particularly active in the hour before you wake. The final REM cycle of a typical night is the longest, sometimes extending to 60 minutes or more. During this extended REM period, the brain draws more heavily on remote memory associations. producing the kind of loose, wide-ranging neural connectivity that researchers link to creative problem-solving. This is why morning, and specifically the moments just after waking, have long been associated with fresh perspective and unexpected clarity. The last act of sleep is often its most generative. The concept of incubation in creativity research refers to the benefit of stepping away from a difficult problem and allowing the subconscious mind to continue working without conscious effort. Experimental studies have consistently shown that participants who take a break, especially one that includes sleep, find novel solutions at higher rates than those who persist without pausing. Sleep, it turns out, is not simply rest between efforts. It is the interval in which a different kind of effort takes place, below the level of awareness, in the part of the mind that never stops looking. You are not giving up when you rest. You are delegating to a more capable part of yourself. Default mode network activity increases during sleep and rest. The default mode network is a set of interconnected brain regions that becomes most active when the mind is not focused on an external task. It is associated with self-referential thinking, autobiographical memory, imagining future scenarios, and understanding other people's mental states. Far from being idle, this network performs functions that are deeply connected to identity, creativity, and social understanding. Its activation during rest and sleep suggests that some of the most meaningful work your brain does happens precisely when you are not trying to do anything. The brain consolidates not just individual memories during sleep, but the relationships between them. This relational memory consolidation means that after sleeping, people are often able to infer connections between things they learned separately. Connections they were not explicitly taught. In studies testing this, participants who slept between learning two sets of related information were more likely to spontaneously recognize the implicit relationship between them than participants who stayed awake. Sleep does not simply store knowledge. It builds understanding. The subconscious mind has a strong preference for patterns. During sleep, the brain is believed to engage in a process of generalization, extracting the rules or regularities underlying a set of experiences, rather than storing each experience individually. This is thought to be part of how procedural learning works, and may also underlie the development of intuition. The expert who instantly recognizes something is wrong, the therapist who senses a shift before it is articulated, the athlete whose body responds before the conscious mind has processed the situation. All of these may reflect pattern libraries that were assembled and refined quietly during sleep. Dreaming appears to serve a simulation function. The brain constructs scenarios during REM sleep that allow for the rehearsal of social and emotional responses in a context where consequences are not real. Research involving threat simulation theory suggests that the proportion of challenging or emotionally complex content in dreams may reflect the brain's use of sleep time to practice responses to difficult situations. Far from being random or without purpose, the narrative content of dreams may be the visible trace of a system designed to prepare you for tomorrow. The neurotransmitter acetylcholine plays a central role in both REM sleep and the formation of new memories. During REM sleep, acetylcholine levels are at their highest, supporting the vivid, associative quality of dreaming and the consolidation of certain memory types. The cholinergic system, which distributes acetylcholine throughout the brain, is also involved in attention and learning during waking hours. Sleep and wakefulness use many of the same neural systems, but in different configurations and for different purposes. The chemistry of your dreams and the chemistry of your attention share the same roots. There is growing evidence that the subconscious mind uses sleep not only to consolidate past experiences, but to model future ones. Prospective memory, the ability to remember to do something in the future, is supported by sleep. People who sleep after forming an intention to perform a future task show better follow-through than those who do not. The sleeping brain appears to actively represent future goals and to strengthen the neural pathways that will be needed to act on them. In a very real sense, the intentions you hold before sleep are tended by sleep itself. Naps, even brief ones, have been shown to confer many of the problem-solving and memory benefits associated with longer sleep. A nap of 60 to 90 minutes, long enough to include slow-wave and potentially REM sleep, produces measurable improvements in insight, creative thinking, and memory consolidation. Even a 10 to 20-minute nap, which typically involves only lighter sleep stages, has been shown to improve alertness and certain aspects of cognitive performance. The subconscious does not require the whole night to make progress. It begins its work the moment you allow yourself to close your eyes. The phenomenon of waking with a solution has been documented across multiple studies using different types of problems. Participants who were presented with difficult puzzles before sleep and tested upon waking solved them at notably higher rates than those who were tested after an equivalent waking interval. This effect is strongest for problems that require restructuring, seeing a familiar situation in a new way, which suggests that sleep actively transforms the mental representation of a problem, rather than simply providing rest. The night has a perspective your afternoon does not. The subconscious mind processes information from all of the senses during waking life and continues to integrate multisensory information during sleep. Studies using polysomnography combined with sensory stimulation have shown that the sleeping brain produces distinctive responses to sounds, scents, and touch, and that these responses differ by sleep stage. The world does not entirely disappear when you sleep. It continues to arrive in softer, filtered form, processed not by conscious attention, but by the deeper systems that have always been running beneath it. Emotional regulation is one of the well-documented functions of sleep, and it operates largely through the subconscious. The prefrontal cortex, which normally exerts regulatory influence over the amygdala's emotional responses, reduces that influence during REM sleep. At the same time, the amygdala becomes more active, while the norepinephrine system, which is involved in stress arousal, goes nearly silent. This particular combination allows the brain to re-experience emotionally notable events without the same physiological stress activation, gradually allowing the biological intensity of those memories to soften. Sleep does not erase what happened. Time heals, but sleep is part of what gives time its quiet power. The subconscious mind shows evidence of value-based processing during sleep. Not all memories are treated equally. The brain preferentially consolidates information that was tagged as relevant, interesting, or emotionally meaningful during waking. This tagging appears to be partly driven by dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation. When something matters to you, The dopaminergic system marks it for prioritized consolidation. Your passions, your concerns, and your intentions are not neutral data points in the brain's nightly filing. They move to the front of the queue. Lucid dreaming, the state in which a dreamer becomes aware that they are dreaming while remaining asleep, has become an area of active scientific investigation. Neuroimaging studies have found that during lucid dreaming, the prefrontal cortex, normally quieted during REM sleep, shows a partial reactivation. This suggests that lucid dreaming represents a hybrid state of consciousness, neither fully asleep nor fully awake, in which elements of conscious self-awareness coexist with the associative neural activity of REM sleep. Some researchers are exploring whether this state might offer a pathway to the creative resources of the dreaming mind. Halfway between our second and third meditation, the picture is becoming clearer. The subconscious mind does not simply mirror what the waking mind did. It extends it, tests it, restructures it, and returns it transformed. Every night you sleep is an act of quiet mental renovation, carried out by systems you did not build, cannot fully observe, and do not need to manage. The mind doing this work is yours. It has always been yours. And it has been doing this your entire life. Faithfully. In the dark. You're still here. Still listening. Still drifting through these quiet corridors of the mind. Take a slow breath. Notice how your thoughts feel a little less sharp now. A little more like water than stone. We're exploring consciousness itself together, you and I, and every sleepy soul listening in the quiet. There's no rush, just the gentle current of curiosity carrying us forward. Let's continue. The relationship between sleep and inner peace has a neurological foundation. Chronic sleep disruption is consistently associated with heightened reactivity in the amygdala and reduced functional connectivity between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. This pattern appears in conditions involving prolonged anxiety and stress. Adequate sleep, by contrast, restores the balance between emotional reactivity and regulatory influence. The feeling of calm that follows a good night's sleep is not merely subjective. It reflects a measurable shift in the architecture of the brain's emotional processing system. The subconscious mind processes not only explicit memories, but implicit ones. The memories that are expressed through behavior, habit, and bodily response, rather than conscious recall. Many of the patterns that feel most deeply embedded in who you are, the reflexes, the tendencies, the automatic responses, were shaped by implicit learning that occurred during experiences you may not consciously remember. And during sleep, implicit memories continue to be consolidated and refined alongside explicit ones. Who you are is being quietly tended, every night, in ways that go far deeper than any deliberate effort could reach alone. Inner peace, as a psychological state, is not the absence of mental activity. It is a quality of relationship to that activity. Neuroscience research on mindfulness and rest has found that practices cultivating inner peace tend to reduce hyperactivity in self-referential neural networks, particularly the kind of looping thought associated with anxiety. Interestingly, the neural signature of healthy sleep shares features with the signatures observed during deep meditative states. Both involve a reduction in analytical self-monitoring and an increase in integrative, associative processing, rest and peace. In the brain, look more similar than the waking mind might expect. The subconscious plays a central role in what psychologists call implicit attitude formation. Your instinctive responses to people, situations, and choices are shaped by a lifetime of experiences that the conscious mind never fully catalogued. During sleep, these implicit associations are updated and refined based on the emotional processing that occurs across sleep cycles. The intuitions you wake up with are not random. They reflect a sophisticated, ongoing process of learning and adjustment that happens below the surface of what you can deliberately think about or willfully change. Research in social neuroscience suggests that the sleeping brain also processes information relevant to social relationships. Studies have found that participants who sleep after learning information about other people show better integration of that information with prior social knowledge than those who stay awake. The subconscious appears to use sleep to update its understanding of the people you know, incorporating new observations into a more complete picture of their personalities and emotional states. You understand the people you love more fully, in part because of the nights you have slept since meeting them. The connection between sleep and creativity extends beyond individual problem solving. Several studies have found that sleep enhances performance on tasks requiring the integration of ideas across broad conceptual categories, what researchers call remote associative thinking. This capacity to see unexpected connections between distant ideas is considered one of the core cognitive substrates of creative work. Poets, composers, scientists, and designers all rely on it. And sleep, particularly REM sleep, appears to be when the brain does its most expansive associative searching. The sleeping mind wanders. And in its wandering, it sometimes finds things the waking mind was looking for. The subconscious mind communicates with the conscious mind in part through the body. The physical sensations that accompany emotional and intuitive responses are shaped by unconscious processing. The feeling in the chest that tells you something is wrong, the lightness that arrives with a right decision, the quiet tightening that signals something worth attending to. These are outputs of a system that processes far more information than conscious attention can handle and sends its conclusions upward through the body. Sleep appears to recalibrate these signaling systems, which may be why physical symptoms of anxiety often ease after genuine rest. There is a phenomenon researchers call sleep-dependent memory transformation, in which memories do not just become stronger after sleep, but become qualitatively different. Emotional memories lose some of their physiological charge. Complex memories become more schematic, retaining their essential structure while losing irrelevant detail. Confusing experiences become more coherent. These transformations are not simply the result of forgetting. They reflect active neural processes that use sleep to reshape the past in ways that serve the future. The brain is always, quietly, editing your story. The feeling of a problem being too difficult often precedes the solution arriving during sleep. This maps closely onto the neuroscience of insight. Sustained conscious effort builds the mental scaffolding the subconscious needs to work with. Without that preparation, incubation has nothing to reorganize. But once the effort has been made and then released, the subconscious can apply its pattern recognition and associative capacities to the material without the constraints that conscious attention imposes. The struggle is not wasted. It is the investment. Sleep is where the return arrives. Halfway through our journey, and the answer to the title's quiet promise is already taking shape. Your subconscious does not solve problems despite your sleeping. It solves them because of it. The neuroscience of sleep is, at its deepest level, the neuroscience of a mind that was designed to be most fully itself in the dark. The conscious mind is the part of you that asks the questions. Sleep is where the deeper part of you goes to find the answers. Let each breath guide you to notice. Time is yours, a separate stream that only you are living, while the vast network of your mind continues to sort, process, and connect. This second, you're breathing. Listening is entirely your own. Somewhere in your brain right now, a memory from today is being linked to something you learned years ago. You will never witness the moment it happens. You do not need to. Simply rest here, knowing that your mind is working in ways more intricate and more faithful than any effort you could make consciously. And we continue drifting. Sleep and the subconscious have a conversation that spans your entire life. The neural networks refined by sleep in childhood differ from those refined in adolescence, which differ again from those shaped during adulthood. The brain's plasticity, its capacity to change and reorganize, remains active during sleep regardless of age. Research has shown that the aging brain continues to consolidate memory and perform creative synthesis during sleep. Though the proportions of sleep stages shift gradually over the lifespan, the conversation between consciousness and its deeper counterpart never fully ends. The default mode network, active during rest and sleep, is also the network most involved in self-concept. The stories you tell about who you are, what you value, and what you want are maintained and revised by this network during the quiet intervals of your day and the longer quiet of your nights. In a very real sense, who you believe yourself to be is a story that sleep helps write. The identity you wake up with is not entirely the same as the one that went to sleep. The night makes small, continuous adjustments. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, follows a circadian pattern, reaching its lowest levels in the early hours of deep sleep and its highest just before waking. This pattern is not incidental. The deep quiet of cortisol during the night creates the neurochemical conditions necessary for memory consolidation and emotional processing. Prolonged stress disrupts this rhythm, keeping cortisol elevated at night and interfering with the subconscious processing that sleep is designed to enable. The biology of peace is, in part, the biology of a well-regulated night. The subconscious mind maintains a model of the social world. Attachment research suggests that the internal working models we form from early relationships, the templates that shape how we expect others to behave and how safe we feel in their presence, are stored and processed at an implicit level. These models influence behavior without conscious awareness and are updated through experience over the course of a lifetime. Sleep appears to play a role in this updating process, integrating new relational experiences with existing models and gradually shifting the felt sense of what is safe and what is possible. Inspiration, in the etymological sense, means to breathe into. And there is something fitting in that, because so many of the moments humans describe as inspired seem to arrive during states of low effort and open awareness. The neuroscience of inspiration points toward the same networks and the same brain states associated with REM sleep: reduced prefrontal activity, heightened limbic engagement, increased associative connectivity. The conditions for inspiration are not the conditions of striving. They are the conditions of allowing. Sleep creates those conditions every night, reliably, without effort or intention. The subconscious mind is involved in what researchers call implicit learning, the acquisition of knowledge through experience rather than deliberate instruction. When you learn a language as a child, navigate a social situation by feel, or develop a sense of taste in music or design, much of what you come to know is never explicitly taught. It accrues through exposure, and it deepens during sleep. This is why extended rest periods following intensive learning tend to produce progress that practice alone does not fully explain. The neuroscience of intuition suggests that what feels like a sudden knowing is often the output of a long prior process of unconscious pattern recognition. The brain has been accumulating observations, comparing them with stored models, and gradually building toward a conclusion that eventually crosses the threshold into conscious awareness. Sleep accelerates and deepens this process. What presents itself as intuition in the waking mind often has its origin in nights of quiet synthesis that went entirely unnoticed. The voice of intuition speaks in the morning because it was listening all night. There is a well-documented relationship between sleep quality and what psychologists call psychological flexibility, the capacity to adapt one's thinking and behavior in response to changing circumstances without becoming rigid or reactive. People who sleep well tend to show higher psychological flexibility. This may reflect the nightly recalibration of the prefrontal cortex's regulatory functions. When the brain is well rested, it can hold complexity, tolerate uncertainty, and respond to challenges with greater nuance. The flexible mind is, in part, the well-slept mind. The subconscious integrates learning across multiple days and nights, not just a single sleep cycle. Long-term skill development, conceptual mastery, and creative breakthroughs often require sustained periods of learning, followed by sustained rest. Research on motor learning has found that consolidation continues for several nights after initial training, with further improvements appearing after each sleep period. The brain is not done with what it learned last week. It is still working on it. Your nights are not isolated events. They are a continuous, cumulative project. Inner peace and subconscious function may be more directly connected than either neuroscience or psychology has traditionally acknowledged. A growing body of research suggests that the sense of internal coherence, the feeling that one's thoughts, emotions, and actions are integrated and in alignment, correlates with healthy sleep architecture. People who describe themselves as at peace with their lives tend to spend more time in the deeper stages of sleep. Whether peace produces deep sleep or deep sleep produces peace, the relationship appears to run in both directions, each supporting the other across a lifetime. The sleeping brain is particularly adept at processing negative emotions. Studies using neuroimaging have found that negative emotional memories are more reliably transformed by sleep than neutral or positive ones. The amygdala's response to previously distressing stimuli is measurably reduced after sleep. This asymmetry may reflect an evolutionary priority. The fitness cost of carrying unprocessed fear or grief is higher than the cost of carrying unprocessed joy. The brain knows this. In whatever sense a brain can be said to know anything, and so it tends to the hardest things first. In the quiet hours when you are not watching, the phenomenon of sleep thinking, in which complex reasoning continues during certain stages of non-REM sleep, has been documented through careful sleep stage monitoring combined with verbal reports. Participants awakened from stage 2 sleep sometimes report coherent, logical trains of thought that bear no resemblance to the vivid imagery of REM dreaming. These reports suggest that the sleeping mind does not simply enter a state of reduced processing. In lighter sleep stages, it may continue something remarkably close to ordinary thinking, just without the narrative anchor of a conscious self directing the inquiry. The subconscious mind operates in cycles that are partly governed by the circadian rhythm, the body's internal 24-hour clock. This clock is regulated by a small cluster of neurons in the hypothalamus, called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which responds to light and darkness and coordinates the timing of sleep, waking, hormone release, and metabolic processes across the entire body. When the circadian rhythm is well calibrated, the subconscious processing of sleep occurs at the times when it is most physiologically effective. This is why consistent sleep timing tends to produce better cognitive outcomes than sleeping the same total number of hours on an irregular schedule. Dreams appear to serve a social learning function in addition to their emotional processing role. Research has found that social themes are among the most common in human dreaming across cultures, with scenarios involving cooperation, conflict, and reconciliation appearing regularly in dream reports from diverse populations worldwide. This cross-cultural consistency suggests that the social content of dreaming reflects a universal function of the sleeping brain, rehearsing, updating, and preparing the social self for the demands of waking life. Your dreaming mind is, among other things, practicing how to be with people. The subconscious mind, as understood through contemporary neuroscience, is not a separate entity operating independently of conscious thought. It is better understood as a set of neural processes that operate below the threshold of conscious attention, shaped by experience, governed by the same biology, and continuously influencing the same person. The distinction between subconscious and conscious is one of degree rather than kind, a difference in the depth of processing and the accessibility of results to voluntary attention. The mind that solves problems while you sleep and the mind that works while you are awake are the same mind, at different depths of itself. Mindful awareness of the hypnagogic state, the brief transition between wakefulness and sleep, has been linked in some research to enhanced creative output. Artists, writers, and scientists who cultivate the habit of gentle attention at sleep onset, noticing the imagery and associations that arise without holding them, sometimes report capturing ideas that feel qualitatively different from those produced by focused waking work. The threshold state is brief, lasting only minutes in most cases. But in those minutes, the loosening grip of conscious control seems to allow something quieter and stranger to surface. The brain's capacity for imagining how things could have been different appears to be heightened during REM sleep. Dream narratives often feature situations that diverge from waking reality, exploring alternative outcomes, different choices, or scenarios that could never literally occur. This capacity to run mental simulations of the non-actual is the cognitive basis for planning, empathy, and learning from experience without repeating it. The dreaming mind practices being in other worlds so that the waking mind can navigate this one more wisely. The subconscious processes sensory information from the body during sleep in ways that influence the content of dreams. Hunger produces dream content involving food. Physical discomfort can generate dream scenarios that echo its quality. This mind-body signaling during sleep suggests that the subconscious is not operating in abstraction from the body. It is embedded in it, translating physiological states into the language of experience, and using that language to modulate behavior, including, ultimately, waking, post-traumatic stress symptoms, including intrusive memories and emotional dysregulation, are closely linked to disruptions in REM sleep and in the normal process of emotional memory transformation that REM enables. Research into treatments for post-traumatic stress has increasingly focused on sleep as a therapeutic pathway. Interventions that improve sleep quality in trauma survivors show corresponding improvements in daytime emotional regulation. The subconscious does not heal what has been carried in a single night, but it works on healing in the specific way only sleep allows, every night that it can. The capacity for abstract reasoning, the ability to work with principles rather than specific examples, appears to be particularly well served by sleep. Studies have found that participants who sleep after learning a set of specific examples show better generalization to new examples than those who remain awake. The sleeping brain appears to extract the underlying patterns from the specific cases, building a more general understanding from the particular. This may be one reason why the most abstract insights have so often been described as arriving after sleep. Abstraction, it seems, requires the particular kind of quiet that only the night provides. The connection between the subconscious mind and what might be called inner knowing has been explored across cultures for as long as human beings have kept records. Dreaming traditions across many of the world's cultures have framed sleep as a source of guidance. And modern sleep research, while it does not validate metaphysical interpretations, does support the idea that the sleeping mind integrates information and generates outputs that the waking mind could not have reached alone. The science and the story point in the same direction, even if they use different languages to describe what happens in the dark. Sleep architecture changes across the lifespan, but the fundamental relationship between sleep and subconscious processing remains constant. Infants spend the majority of their sleep time in REM, possibly reflecting the enormous volume of new learning that requires consolidation in the developing brain. Adolescents show a characteristic shift in circadian timing, feeling most alert later in the evening and needing to sleep later in the morning. Older adults show less total slow-wave sleep, but continue to show REM-related memory benefits. The subconscious mind is always working within the sleep it has. The language the subconscious uses is not words. It is pattern, association, image, and feeling. Dreams rarely arrive as clear propositions. They arrive as situations, as emotional textures, as gentle gestures towards something the dreaming mind knows without being able to articulate. This is not a limitation. It is the native language of the system that dreams. And waking attention can learn to develop a more open relationship with the nightly offerings of the subconscious. noticing what it brings, holding it softly, and allowing it to inform rather than confuse. The neuroscience of awe, the emotion associated with encountering something vast or deeply meaningful, shares features with the neural states of REM sleep. Both involve reduced self-referential processing and increased engagement with something larger than the individual self. Some researchers have begun to explore whether cultivating the capacity for awe during waking life may create neural conditions more conducive to productive sleep, and whether sleep in turn amplifies the capacity for awe upon waking. The relationship between wonder and rest may be more reciprocal than it first appears. By now, our understanding has shifted. The subconscious is not mysterious because it is hidden. It is extraordinary because of what it does. It consolidates, connects, heals, creates, and quietly returns to you each morning a version of yourself that has been tended through the night. The peace you feel after deep sleep is not accidental. It is the signature of a brain that completed its work. And the insights that arrive with the morning light are not gifts from nowhere. They are the natural return on an investment your subconscious made while you rested. You might be feeling tired now. That's perfectly fine. Breathe slowly. Feel the cycles. Your neurons are firing in slow, rhythmic waves right now. As you listen, your glymphatic system is beginning to activate, gently clearing, making space. Your hippocampus is quietly preparing for its nightly work, like your breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Each cycle of sleep is a small movement within the vast pattern of a life. You are part of that rhythm. You don't need to hold on to anything. Let everything settle in its own time, like the mind finding its way to stillness. Unhurried, unresisting, simply here. We're almost there now. The subconscious mind has been working its whole life. Every night since your first night. Sorting, storing, building the architecture of who you are from the materials of each day. You have never had to ask it to. It has never required your permission, or your presence, or your understanding. It simply continues, quietly, in the dark. The dreams you remember are a small fraction of what occurs. Researchers estimate that adults have 4 to 6 REM periods each night, each one capable of generating its own dreamscape. Most of what unfolds there is forgotten before full waking. What remains in memory is a sample. The full library of a night's dreaming is far larger and far stranger than anything the morning manages to hold. Memory is not what happened. Memory is the story the brain chose to keep, and the shape it gave that story during sleep. The past is not fixed. It is quietly edited, night by night, until it becomes something the present can live alongside. The brain is not preserving history. It is tending it. The feeling of not being able to solve a problem is often temporary. The subconscious continues, working after conscious effort stops. What seemed impossible in the evening has a way of feeling more approachable in the morning. This is not optimism. It is the natural result of a mind that has been allowed to do what it does best, without interference. In the quiet hours you cannot see, the brain uses sleep to consolidate not just what you learned, but who you are becoming. Skills in progress deepen overnight. Values being formed grow clearer with each passing night. Habits being built are reinforced below the level of any deliberate attention. The person you are working to become is being quietly supported every night, without any effort from the part of you that is trying. The sleeping brain is not separate from the waking one. It is the same brain at a different depth. The line between conscious and subconscious is not a wall. It is a gradient, a soft slope from the surface to wherever it is that the deepest processing happens. Sleep is where you travel most fully into what is always there. Silence, in the neuroscience of sleep, is not emptiness. It is the condition in which the most intricate processing becomes possible. The quieter the input from the outside world, the more freely the subconscious can turn its attention inward, toward the work of connection, repair, and renewal that it was designed to do. The mind that solves problems while you sleep does not require your attention. It does not require your understanding. It only requires that you rest. That is the entire ask. And it is also, in a way, the most complete form of trust. To sleep is to believe, without thinking it through, that the deeper parts of you know what they are doing. Your subconscious has been generating understanding your entire life, long before you knew to call it that. The answer that arrived during a walk, the clarity that came after a period of grief, the way the right words appeared when you stopped searching for them. These were always the same system, working in the same way, in whatever quiet space you allowed it. The inner calm that follows a night of deep sleep is real in the way that any biology is real. It is the brain's regulatory systems restored. It is the amygdala recalibrated. It is cortisol in its proper rhythm. It is the body carrying a little less than it did the night before. The feeling is not imagined. It is the body reporting on work that was completed while you were away. Creativity and rest belong together. They always have. The most generative minds across history, in art, in science, in mathematics, spoke of the necessity of fallow time, of stepping back, of letting the mind wander without purpose or destination. The science now explains, gently, what they knew by feel. The subconscious does not need you to direct it. It needs you to stop directing it. The release of conscious effort is not failure. It is an invitation, the kind that happens below the surface. In the grammar, the brain writes for itself. When the part that monitors and evaluates has finally gone still, your brain creates entire worlds while you sleep. Every night, your mind constructs vivid experiences from memory fragments, emotions, and abstract patterns woven together in the dark. Characters appear, conversations unfold, and landscapes emerge, all generated from within. These worlds feel real in the moment, complete with color and weight, yet they vanish upon waking, like morning mist lifting from still water. The sleeping brain is not resting. It is creating, in ways the waking mind can only glimpse from a distance. The processing that occurs during sleep is proportional to the richness of what was experienced while awake. A day of genuine attention, curiosity, and presence gives the subconscious more to work with than a day passed at a distance from things. Living fully during the day is, in a sense, an act of generosity toward the mind that will tend to it during the night. Sleep has been solving your problems all your life. Every time a night's rest made something clearer. Every morning you woke knowing, without knowing how you knew, what to do. Every answer that arrived quietly, without announcement, after a period of rest. These were not coincidences. They were the subconscious, doing what it was built to do, with whatever material you gave it. The brain in deep sleep is one of the most orderly states in all of biology. Slow, synchronized waves move across the cortex in long, gentle rhythms. The nervous system settles. The body grows heavy. And in that heaviness, some of the most intricate and meaningful work a human mind will ever perform is quietly, patiently underway. The connection between sleep and wisdom may be more than poetic. If wisdom involves the integration of knowledge, experience, and perspective across time, and if sleep is the mechanism by which that integration occurs night by night across a lifetime, then wisdom and sleep may be, in a very literal sense, the same slow project, carried out in the dark, over many years, one quiet night at a time. You do not need to do anything tonight except allow this to continue. The processing is already underway. The consolidation is already beginning. The subconscious is already turning toward its work. All that is required of the conscious mind now is to step gently, willingly, aside. The mind that wakes tomorrow will understand things the mind falling asleep tonight does not. Not because new information will arrive in the night, but because what was already known will have been arranged differently, connected more deeply, held more lightly. Sleep does not add to the mind. It reveals what was always there. Inner peace and a well-rested subconscious are not goals to be achieved. They are states the brain moves toward naturally, given the conditions they need. Rest is one of those conditions. Quiet is one of those conditions. And the willingness to stop trying, just for the length of a night, may be the most gentle and the most powerful condition of all. The subconscious has been working for you your entire life, in silence, without acknowledgement. It has sorted your grief and filed your joy. It has deepened your skills and softened your wound. It has been, in every sense that matters, faithful, not because it was asked to, simply because that is what it does. The science of sleep is, at its heart, the science of a mind that knows how to take care of itself. Everything the sleeping brain does, every consolidation, every transformation, every quiet act of integration, is the body's way of making sure that tomorrow you can continue, that you can think and feel and connect and try again. What you are feeling right now, this heaviness, this softening, this gentle dissolution of the day's edges, is the subconscious preparing to begin. It has been waiting for this. The whole day, in a sense, was preparation for this moment. And this moment is already doing what it came to do. The work your subconscious will do tonight is real work. It will process what you felt. It will consolidate what you learned. It will quietly move toward the problems you have been holding. And it will do this without effort, without struggle, and without any help from the part of you that is slowly, now, releasing. And so the answer the title promised arrives here, in the simplest possible form. Your subconscious solves problems while you sleep, because solving problems is what sleep is for. The night is not an interruption of your life. It is where your life is tended, where the hard things are softened, the confused things clarified, and the broken things, wherever possible, gently, patiently repaired. And so, our quiet journey through the subconscious mind comes to a gentle close. We traveled from the vast, silent neural networks that never stop processing, to the slow-wave ripples of the hippocampus, replaying the day, to the final REM cycle of the morning, where the longest dreams are woven from the furthest reaches of memory. We discovered that sharp wave ripples carry the day's experiences toward the cortex each night, that the glymphatic system clears away what the brain no longer needs, and that even a brief passage into N2 sleep can surface what hours of effort could not find. We glimpsed something both intimate and immense, a mind within the mind, faithful and tireless, working for you every night of your life. The subconscious reminds us that understanding is rarely complete at the moment of effort. Much of the knowing happens afterward, in the space between trying and arriving, in the dark where the day's work is quietly finished. It reveals that the mind has always been larger than the part we can see, more patient than the part that worries, and more capable than the part that doubts. By simply resting tonight, you are participating in one of the most intricate processes in the known universe, one that no technology has yet come close to replicating. In these final minutes, take the deepest breath you can, as deep as possible. Think about unity, of every neuron, every memory, every dream ever dreamed by every sleeping mind that has ever existed on this small, turning world. You are not separate from that. You are a single thread in the longest, quietest story the universe has ever told. Let your entire being dissolve into the space between wakefulness and sleep, where thought becomes image, where the self grows soft at its edges, where nothing needs to be held or carried or solved. Prepare for deep sleep. No boundaries left. Only peace. If this quiet journey into the mind helped you rest, or find your way towards sleep a little more gently tonight, a soft like or subscribe may help another sleepless soul find their way here too. It only takes a moment. One quiet tap, one sleepy soul at a time. But there's no need to do anything now. Nothing at all. You've traveled far tonight, farther than most journeys take you. You can allow these thoughts of the subconscious to fade now, like the last image of a dream at dawn, present for a moment, then softer, then simply part of everything, leaving only the quiet, unheld calm behind. Let your breathing deepen. Let your body feel heavier, as if all you've been carrying today is being sorted by careful, invisible hands, and is simply, gently, setting itself down. If sleep comes, let it carry you the way the mind moves into its deepest work, without force, without effort, simply arriving into a realm where time and weight no longer matter. If your eyes are still open, the next video is waiting for you, ready to continue the journey. But if they're closed, stay there. Stay in the darkness that feels safe and warm. Tomorrow, your subconscious will still be there, still tending, still weaving, still becoming. But tonight belongs to stillness. Rest well, sleepy soul, and remember, your mind is always working to bring you toward the light. Good night.